jokes about prostitutes.
Oh, no. That's Bunton made some jokes
Oh, I
that
remember.
he thought were funny.
Oh,
And also
yeah.
that.
Oh, good. Ooh,
Yeah.
Got him on Jay Leno.
yeah. Well, good morning, Diana.
morning. How
How
are
are you
you?
doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good, Cindy. How are you?
All right.
Thank you.
If we could rise, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I have asked Captain Royer with Shawnee County Sheriff's Office to lead us off.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the April 16, 2015 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the County Commission, also representing District 2. Joining me today are Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
And Shelley Bueller, representing District 1.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could have our first item.
Consent agenda?
Are there any questions or additions to the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Archer to adopt the consent agenda as presented. That's been seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? That passes 3-0. Next item.
New business, A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers are totaling $1,576,860.59. Of those, the top category is pooled cash for payroll, $763,742.94. After that, holding accounts for vehicles, and then Parks and Recreation, $150,082.53. Utilities, concrete, uniforms, and gathering of supplies for the season, I believe, is making that number grow. So I have no questions. Or actually, my questions have been answered by Betty. I would move approval.
Second.
There's been a motion to approve the vouchers as presented by Commissioner Bueller. It's been seconded by Commissioner Archer. I might add that on the vouchers today, there is an elections vouchers for $12,864.86. And this is just a portion of the cost from the general election that we just conducted. And so sometimes it's important to remember that the elections that the city hold do have real dollar values attached to them. But there's been a motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And it passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll make a motion to approve the correction orders.
I'll second. Motion by Commissioner Archer for approval of the correction orders, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And that passes 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Bond Council, number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2015-33, expressing the intent to issue Shawnee County, Kansas taxable health care facility revenue bonds, an estimated amount not to exceed $17 million for construction and equipping of a transitional care facility, and enter into a base lease and lease purchase agreement with MS Topeka LLC, together with all things necessary and incidental thereto.
Good morning, Bob Perry. We have to conduct a public hearing before you consider the resolution. The public hearing will answer any questions that the public may have regarding the project and the proposed issuance of the bonds. Should the bonds be issued, they're a special limited obligation of the county. They're payable solely and only from the rents and revenues derived from the project, and they're not an obligation of any sort of the county, nor are they payable from taxation. Clerk Peterson with the Posanelli Law Firm is here on behalf of the applicant, MS Topeka LLC. So if anybody in the public has any questions, I'm sure I'd be glad to answer them.
So, Bob, if I understand correctly, the first step would be for me to make a motion to open the public hearing on
Correct.
this item. I will so move to open the public hearing on this item.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to open the public hearing, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And that motion passes 3-0. And then at this time, we would then have, if there is any public comment or discussion of this industrial revenue bond.
Correct.
Are there any questions for bond counsel before we begin?
I do have one. Bob, I have heard some concern from at least one other facility, kind of assisted living facility, that they didn't know if this was open to all entities that could possibly take advantage of this, or, and actually had Jane do some research, and in the past, we have had, it may be similar, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Midland Hospice,
Most,
and Aldersgate.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Shelley.
And do some of, similar to this, correct?
Correct. Most, under the IRB statutes, most commercial enterprises can ask for an industrial revenue bond issue. The advantage would be is should the bonds be issued, the materials and supplies acquired for the project could be entitled to a sales tax exemption. And should the county agree, then the project itself acquired with bond proceeds could receive an exemption from ad valorem taxation for a period of time not to exceed 10 years. The policy of the county presently is any project that's proposed to be financed with IRB proceeds, the applicant, the tenant, the user of the facility must pay the present ad valorem tax that's generated at a minimum. When we did the Blue Cross Blue Shield project back in 2004, my memory is the payment in lieu of tax is what it's called, was like $350,000. Does that sound right, Rich? Do you remember?
Some, pardon?
On the Blue Cross Blue Shield, the pilot was at like 350 plus from my memory.
Yeah.
So they paid that. There was no loss of tax revenues that's presently being generated to all the taxing entities within the county.
And BRB did the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that. So that's the advantage of doing the IRB. And in this case, Kirk can answer this better than I as a developers counsel, but typically this process allows the new entity to cash flow a little bit easier at the beginning to get itself established and continue to grow.
Okay.
Bob, is there any risk to the county by allowing this industrial revenue bond?
Not financially, no. The bonds will be purchased either by a private lender or by the tenant itself. So that lending risk is shifted to the private enterprise totally. The benefit to the county is you can end up with a very nice, 16, how big is this? 69,500 square foot facility with 94 beds and 94 beds and 95 employees. That's the benefit.
Are there questions for bond counsel regarding this item?
Mr. Chairman, I know
Commissioner Bueller.
I actually do see somebody who's entered the room. This is the time for public discussion and public comment. So if you have a concern, you need to come to the podium and express that at this time.
Absolutely. If there's anybody from the public wanting to add comment or have discussion on this issuance of the industrial revenue bond, please approach the podium, identify who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Good morning. I'm Jerry Nye. I'm the CEO of Aldersgate Village in Topeka. Not sure I understand, all the details of the industrial revenue bond financing here, but as a large provider of Medicare and Medicaid services, I would tell you that I don't believe this is a good use of tax abatement. If the market will demand something like this, for-profit entities will build it anyway. As you might imagine, I'm very familiar with the market. And what's being proposed here is to give 10 years of tax abatement to an organization that really doesn't need it. Yes, it will help them cash flow. But your existing businesses like Aldersgate Village, and I don't speak for the other facilities, but as a nonprofit, we don't pay income tax. We pay thousands and thousands of dollars of other tax. I'm not against competition. There's going to be other facilities that are going to be built in Topeka County, Shawnee County, the region, whether I like it or not. And this is not an attempt for me to be against economic development whatsoever. I sit on the Go Topeka Economic Development Board. I'm for whatever is good for Topeka. Specifically, though, the issue is to give a for-profit entity 10 years of tax abatement is a complete unfair advantage, especially when existing facilities need that kind of revenue in order to survive. What's proposed here is an organization that will come in and take the high-margin Medicare business, and when those people are out of money, they're turned out to go to places like Aldersgate Village, who do it without a profit motive and have served, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of free care under Medicaid. We need that Medicare money, that high revenue, high profit money in order to continue to do this. We have over 65% of our revenues are just Medicaid. That's just reimbursement. There's not any margin in Medicaid. So my point is this, how can you offer tax abatement to an organization for 10 years when organizations, your existing businesses in Shawnee County and Topeka, have done the heavy lifting for over 100 years? In particularly Aldersgate Village, for 35 years, we've done the heavy lifting of taking care of the actual need, the need when people are frail and elderly and out of money and no place else to turn. We take those Medicaid people. And from Kansas City to Goodland, no one even comes close. We're the largest provider of Medicaid and Medicare services in Kansas. We know the business and we know the need. That's why we do it without a profit motive, because the need is there. And to give an organization an unfair advantage for 10 years with tax abatement is something that I feel like is not a good use of tax financing. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone would have.
Are there
About
questions? Commissioner Archer?
Thank you. And thank you for coming this morning, and thank you for your comments. As Aldersgate is a nonprofit, do you pay property taxes in Shawnee County?
We do not pay property
Okay.
taxes, but we pay about $68,000. In an impact study that we had done just in 2014, we pay about $68 million worth of tax across the state in the ripple effect of the taxable sales that we create. So we're doing our share,
No, I'm just trying to weigh that the proposed organization would be pretty much on even footing as far as property taxes go with Aldersgate. Where am I wrong on that?
We're in general, what's the issue is that the investors, the for-profits, they're coming in. They will build this anyway. The city, the county, they're not going to lose out on an economic development opportunity. Someone's going to build. I talk to people all the time. We're not going to prevent this, and honestly, we don't really want to prevent fair dealings. There are going to be a number of them. Fred Hermes out of Wichita has already talked about building something. Steve Shields with Impact Design out of Manhattan has talked about building something. They're going to be, the city, the county is not going to lose out on this. There'll be other developers develop without the additional advantage of this tax financing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Bueller?
And Jerry, IRBs have been issued by the county for Aldersgate, though, correct? In the past?
In recent years,
I believe so. I think I had down 97, 02, and 13.
we
Is that
recently refinanced without IRB money, yes, and that was an issue. But we may have received it in the past, but as a nonprofit, in fact, if one of my nonprofit competitors was standing here to do a remodel and ask for IRB funding, I would have no problem with that. The issue is that that organization, to be rewarded for not doing the heavy lifting of taking any Medicaid, is completely out of line for a county to accept.
But-
When you're going to get that money anyway.
But I think Commissioner Bueller's point is well heated, which is Aldersgate has received industrial revenues in the past and has benefited from industrial revenue bonds. So the distinction that you're making is it's okay for, in your opinion, nonprofits to receive industrial revenue bonds, but for-profit entities should not receive industrial revenue bonds, even though it will grow jobs and economic development in Shawnee County.
What it will do is cannibalize the existing businesses in Shawnee County that have done the heavy lifting for the wards of this county and this city. When people run out of money and become Medicaid, they're not Aldersgate's responsibility, they're the state of Kansas' responsibility, and the state of Kansas doesn't have any facilities to take on this burden. That's why we do it, and have been doing it, you know, for 35 years. And that's the difference.
Any other questions?
No,
No.
for Jerry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other public comments regarding this item?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Kurt Peterson with the Polson Law Firm here on behalf of the applicant. If I could just make very brief remarks and then stand for any questions you might have. For starters, our friend from Aldersgate, it's very important to understand, setting aside, Commissioners, several points that were made that kind of cut to the heart of maybe an equity argument that was being made, one that as a 501c3, which I understand them to be, that they don't pay property tax now, and then also perhaps that there was IRB financing in the past. Those are points I think that don't need any elaboration, but I don't even want it. That sounds very adversarial on our behalf, and I have to tell you, my client feels anything but adversarial with whether it's Aldersgate or any other, call it transitional care or senior living facility in this county, in Topeka or in this county generally at all. We truly believe and empirically can show across the country as we've grown that the classic phrase, all boats rise. And what I mean by that is, let me back up quickly. This facility has in it, as I believe you understand, both an assisted living component and a skilled nursing component, kind of the transitional care. Skilled nursing being folks that come usually post-surgery for 15 to 30 days that just need a little extra care and they stay there. Most of them will then transition to their home after that. Some of them aren't quite ready to leave, but you know, in terms of payment system and care levels, you usually move on after 15 to 30 days. If they're not ready to go home, then they usually are looking for some kind of assisted living facility. Oftentimes that's connected to or near skilled nursing, so that you do have those nurses if you need them. Our facility is not primarily an assisted living facility. Absolutely not. It's not the business model. We are primarily a transitional care facility. What happens is we have discharges in the range of, for this type of facility, 100 to 120 discharges a month. We have in these types of facilities anywhere from the 20-ish plus assisted living beds. Those are simply there, again, for those folks that aren't ready to leave yet, and they stay on usually sometimes a month-to-month basis, sometimes a week-to-week basis in assisted living. The reason I say that is any primarily assisted living facility right out of the gate should not feel threatened by the fact that we have some assisted living beds. It's not something that we're out there marketing and driving our business model as an assisted living facility. But furthermore, setting that aside, possibly the more important point is what we found, again, backed up by empirical data, is that in this community and in other communities across the country, as we've decided where we're going to locate, because Main Street is arguably the fastest growing and one of the most respected transitional care facilities, again, across the entire country. When they decided to come to a market like the county, the city, they found something to be true always. And that point is that there are people that it says nothing about any specific facility that's available, but oftentimes it's about capacity of quality facilities. People are going home that would rather not go home after that procedure. They would rather go to skilled nursing, but there's not a facility either close enough, right? Because we're not just talking about people, when we look at our proprietary model that said this would be a great location to be, we're not just talking about residents of the county or residents of the city. There are people that will come here. We'll have, as we call it in the business, right, negative leakage. We will draw people in that otherwise are not coming in for these types of services. And so when they see a facility like this hospitality quality facility, they will choose, instead of trying to have their parent or child or brother come over and help them to get by post-surgery at home, they will choose to be in a facility like this. So when I said, the pie grows or all boats rise, I guess is what I said, unbelievably true. So what we found is, instead of facilities like Aldersgate's assisted living components or other facilities in town, instead of seeing that they are actually beat down with competition, 100% we stand by it, we will see an overall gain and especially those assisted living beds, as we discharge 100 to 120 a month, and certainly don't have enough capacity to have everybody come into our assisted living. So with that, I could go on and on. There's certainly a cost-benefit study in your packet that showed this has a great, with this tax abatement in effect, would still have a great benefit, both the county and the city for that matter, and the other taxing jurisdictions. So we're excited. This is an A++ quality project, and again, as I started, I want to end how I started. We don't feel adversarial with Aldersgate or any of the other facilities that are here in the county or the city. We are all going to gain, and we're going to work with them. Baby boomers, day by day by day by day. This client of mine and other clients in this industry will tell you that we got to catch up. We're already behind here in the city and the county, and this project, I think, will take a great leap towards making that happen. So stand for any questions.
Any questions?
No.
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman.
Are there any other persons wanting to speak on this item? Commissioners, is there any other discussion that we need to undertake at this point?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and to pass the resolution as presented.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Archer to close the public hearing and to issue the industrial revenue bonds as presented.
Kevin, excuse
Yes.
me for interrupting. Technically, this resolution does not authorize the issuance. It expresses the county's intent
Okay.
to authorize their issuance in the future. We'll have to negotiate the base lease, the lease, do some preliminary work. There's a time frame after this occurs that it needs to expire before we can come back.
Commissioner Archer, would you so amend your motion to reflect the comments of bond counsel?
Yes.
So there is a motion to close public hearing and the intent to issue
Thank you.
industrial revenue bonds. Motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
very much. Next item.
Item C, Information Technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-131, 2015 with NACR for annual maintenance of the Avaya Private Branch Exchange that provides telecommunications services for users of phones, fax machines, and point-of-sale systems with a cost of $43,734.72.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat Oblander with the Information Technology Department. The item before you today is a renewal of the maintenance agreement for the phone system, basically, that services the courthouse and all of the occupants therein, and a variety of the larger buildings throughout Shawnee County. They're all tied into this same central system. So this is what takes care of our fax lines, our phone lines, various connections that we have to provide telecommunication services throughout the county. I'd be happy to answer any other questions if you have any.
Are there any questions regarding these items? I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook for approval, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you,
much.
Commissioner.
Next item.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contracts C-132, 2015 through C-137, 2015 with Soldier, Topeka, Silver Lake, Dover, Mission, and Minokan Township Boards for treatment of noxious weeds, with each township reimbursing the county an amount of $22 per road mile.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This is a contract negotiated by John Wellborn and the Weed Department to maintain the properties that the clerk just listed. This item and the next two are contracts that the noxious or the Weed Department does contract work for other entities. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Are there any questions regarding this item?
Motion, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Motion to approve the contracts.
Motion, motion made by Commissioner Bueller to approve the contracts. The motion's been seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The motion passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-138, 2015 with the Kansas Department of Transportation for treatment of noxious weeds in an amount of $25 per hour for labor, $35 to $40 per hour for equipment, and wholesale costs of chemicals and dyes to be billed monthly.
Commissioners, same rationale, but this is for Kansas Department of Transportation.
I'll make a motion to approve that contract.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 3, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-139, 2015 with the City of Topeka and Contract C-140, 2015 with the Kaw River Drainage District for treatment of noxious weeds, an amount of $25 per hour for labor, $35 to $40 per hour for equipment, and wholesale costs of chemicals and dyes to be billed monthly.
Commissioners, again, the same rationale, but this is for the City of Topeka and the Kaw River Drainage District. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Move approval.
I'll second. Motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 4, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-141, 2015 with Silverback Enterprises for the operation of the Legends Triathlon for 2 years with cost to the Department of $425 and revenue to the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Foundation of $5,000 per year and an economic impact of $70,000 per year.
Commissioners, this is a special event contract. This group, Silverback, is a little confusing to us, and I want to make sure you understand the difference. We partner with the Silverbacks Kansas for a lot of volunteer efforts in several of our community centers. This is a completely different group. This is the same group that runs our Topeka 10-man triathlon. It's been so successful over the last close to 30 years that we've decided to run some more type of events, and this is the Legends event. It's going to be a triathlon and be held in the fall. This contract actually is for 2 years, and the terms are almost identical to what our agreement is with the Topeka 10-man triathlon. The reason we negotiated a 2-year agreement is we anticipate this being just as successful, if not more, than the 10-man, and that would put them on the same schedules going forward, and we could just have one contract to the commissioners for all of the events going forward. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Are there any questions regarding this
Yeah,
contract?
motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 5, consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for one employee to attend the National Association of County Parks and Recreation Officials Board of Directors meeting and the NACO Annual Conference and Exposition in Charlotte, North Carolina, with travel and lodging expenses to be paid by the Parks and Recreation Foundation and registration costs not to exceed $300 to be paid by Parks and Recreation General Fund budget.
Commissioners, this employee would like to travel to the annual meeting for National Association of County Park and Rec Officials. The foundation has agreed to pay for the flight and hotel costs. The registration to the conference is under $300. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Now, John, you do realize that Charlotte, North Carolina is near and dear to one of our commissioners, and I'm sure if there's any inappropriate behavior, he'll hear about it before that employee even lands back in Topeka.
Well, doesn't that knife cut both ways? Won't I be able to find out some really juicy history items?
Could be.
Nice move, Commissioner. I did want to point out, and I think you serve on the Board of Directors of NACRO.
Yes, I am currently the vice president of that
Yes,
association.
and I did want to point that out. I also wanted to point out that Charlotte-Mecklenburg County was one of the early organizations that consolidated Parks and Rec. I remember looking at that when Commissioner Bueller and I were proposing to consolidate our Parks and Rec, and that was a model for how we were to go forward. And so I hope you'll take that opportunity to learn a lot about how they're doing and any thing that we can learn to do a better job in Shawnee County. So,
Absolutely.
with that, I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-state travel.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer to approve the out-of-state travel, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item.
Number 6, consider approval to solicit input regarding proposed aquatic center plan for Southwest Topeka, Shawnee County.
Commissioners, this is a follow-up item to items we've had before you earlier in the year. I do have Randy Luby and David Alaker from our Recreation Division here to make a brief presentation to you. But what we're basically here for is, there was discussion at the last time we were here about research. Have we looked at all different sites, those type of things, and that's what these guys will present to you today. Be happy to answer any other questions when they're finished, but with that, I'll turn it over to Randy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. As John mentioned, we're here to discuss the location of the Aquatic Center. To give you a little brief history, in 2013, the Crestview Pool had major mechanical and maintenance issues that we had to close that facility, leaving no aquatic facility in the southwest portion of Shawnee County. It was about that time of the year, or in 2013, that you gave us approval to go out for a master plan, and we were anxious to see the information from the master plan. Well, the master plan was completed last fall, 2014, and it did, through a lot of their information gathering, through focus meetings and public meetings, surveys, it did show a need for an aquatic facility in the southwest portion of Shawnee County. As John mentioned, on February 12th, we were down to solicit, and you gave us permission to solicit proposals for professional services for design build of this aquatic facility, and at that time the location came up. And since then, we have met with the members of the city of Auburn, the U.S. District 437 administrative staff, and our administrative staff met several times on discussing different locations. With that, I'm going to turn it over to David Alaker. He's got a brief presentation of the findings of these locations, and we'll go from there.
Good morning, County Commissioners. David Alaker, Shawnee County Parks and Rec. Let's see if I can get this going. And of course not. I gotta start over. That was a brief view. Okay. We had different input from the public wanting to know various sites that could be potential for this new aquatic facility. So this presentation kind of shows you the advantages and disadvantages of each potential site. This is out of the master plan. Outdoor pool facilities, the master plan suggests 1 per every 20,000 residents. That's why Quadrant 3 is a prime candidate for this aquatic facility. This is what we have in the yellow stars, is what we currently operate, spray parks and pool facilities. The green stars are the potential sites that we are looking at for the future. This kind of gives you a red outline, federal mandate boundaries for Topeka Metro. We're trying to bring people within the city out to the new facility. The mandate states that Topeka Metro has to stay within the city boundaries. This kind of gives you an outline of the southwest section of the county of where the city boundaries are. The green stars indicate where we are looking at for the facilities or the proposed lands. Currently, this is where the bus routes are currently shown. They don't go past Wanamaker very far. We reached out to them. They said a lack of funding is the potential reason why to extend bus routes out to the southwest 21st. That doesn't mean in the future, when this is completed, we reinstate or readdress the issue. I think there can be a collaboration somewhere along the lines. We went to Auburn City Park. Councilman Mike Robinson supports Shawnee County Parks and Rec to build a new aquatic facility. That way they can focus on other amenities or other projects within their community. Crestview Felker Park. Randy stated that our Crestview facility was shut down due to mechanical reasons. The little red or the little blue tack there, That's where the Crestview Community Center is currently at now. That is where the Crestview pool was. It is now green space. But if you look at the guide here, this zone where this is located at, is in a high-risk floodplain. It is not too wise to build in a floodplain. The other one is Felker Park. This is a moderate flood plain. The areas that are in green, the acreage is not big enough for the facility that we're looking at. Some of the advantages, it's county-owned, and Metro buses do go there. We did meet with USD 437. This location is Southwest 33rd and Southwest Urish Road. The advantages, there's acreage for sale. They're looking to sell the land that is there and eventually build into another site that they have. Future growth with the acreage that is there. The disadvantage, there's no existing sidewalks, no existing utilities. Fewer funds will go into the amenities, which means we'll have to pay to get all the utilities out there, all the sidewalks out there, and that's more what I call underground, where nobody can see. We're wanting to do more of the above ground, where people can enjoy and see and do, where the attractions. Another one the USD had is Southwest 29th and Southwest Auburn Road. This is where they're going to eventually build a new school at. They were willing to lease acreage for the aquatic center. Partnerships in the future with USD 437 would be a very good potential. Again, no existing utilities, no sidewalks, and fewer amenities. 21st and Urish, Southwest 21st, Southwest Urish Road. The advantages, we already have existing utilities, we have existing sidewalks. That'd leave more funds for the amenities. Community tourism. Right now, it's very close to the Wanamaker corridor. There is restaurants and shops right across Urish, and it's quick emergency response. There's a fire department right on the premises. Also, you have a golf course there. You have different amenities that will attract people from the outside community. Disadvantages, not centrally located in Quadrant 3. Future construction of Southwest Urish could propose a future problem. Some pool terminology. A swimming pool is a structure, often a concrete lined excavation of rectangular shape, which is filled with water and used for swimming. This is a system that is going away. This is more the old school type pool, your neighborhood pool, stuff like that. Everybody is looking for the bells and whistles, new state-of-the-art stuff, the slides, the wave pools, the kiddie spray parks, stuff like that. A water park is basically what I just explained, an amusement park that features water play areas such as water slides, splash pads, spray grounds, water playgrounds, lazy rivers, or other recreational bathing, swimming, or barefooting environment. And I did mention community-based tourism. Tourism which local residents invite tourists to their communities with the provision of extended stay. That means they will come to the pool for the day, well then they will extend their stay. They will go out to eat. They will go to a movie. They will do some shopping. They will potentially spend the night and do some other activities in the city of Topeka. So this could actually be a plus for the city as a whole. Thank you, County Commissioners. Do you have any questions?
I might start with one. The commenters for the Capital Journal always seem to have the answers to every problem that faces us. And one of the solutions was, why wouldn't you build it in a floodplain? It's water. Where's it going to go? So,
okay. Main reason. It's a very good question. Main reason why you don't build it in a floodplain, because water will get under it and it'll actually float the whole facility out of the ground. That has happened to the facility in the Oakland area. Luckily, that one was made of metal, so they just put it right back in the ground where it was. If it's concrete, it'll break up. You'll have to rebuild, and that's the major concern. You wouldn't build your house or a structure on sand. That's kind of what building a pool is in a floodplain.
Commissioner Bueller.
I live in a floodplain.
That's why I changed it from house to,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you can build in a floodplain. It depends on the specifications, the structure, Oftentimes, in public places, they do put parks in floodplains because there's less of an impact on facilities. Ball fields, I think, are built in floodplains, so it's not that it's not done, it is done.
Right, but sorry.
It still contributes to the cost of the project.
Right, but you also gotta remember that parks and stuff like that are on top of the ground. The pool is actually in the ground, so that underground water will actually lift up,
Mhm.
so.
Mhm. Yep.
But yes, it can be done,
Yes.
not recommended.
Commissioner Archer? any
No, I'm good,
questions?
thank you.
I do have one question though on sidewalks. Sidewalks, I brought up an aerial view. We've got them on 21st Street and we've got them a little ways down on Urish, but Urish from 21st to 29th does not have any sidewalks. And the plant, and I don't know, city or county project as far as roads and improving that stretch between those two roundabouts. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have John answer that, he knows more about that than I do.
Oh, no, I'm just going to pass that one off, too. I assume with the development of Topeka that the street of Urish between 21st and 29th is on the radar. I had done some preliminary checking, and I may be mistaken, but I thought that was on the next sales tax issue with the city of Topeka, although I just talked with Tom Vlock, and he did not believe it was, so we'd have to do some more checking on that.
John, I know that this is a public meeting and this is a public hearing to get input on the Southwest Pool. In addition to this meeting and those that have been listed out on your memorandum, are you planning on other opportunities for the public to have input?
I would like, that really goes to the heart of the question that I had and why there's some questions about this meeting. I would like to have public meetings. I'd like to have, but I would like to have those public meetings with the public weighing in on what type of amenities they'd like to see as opposed to where the locations are. But we'll do whatever the majority of the commission wants us to do. If you want us to have some meetings to talk further about the site location, we'd be glad to do that too. But I personally think we've done quite a bit of research. I like where we're at, and I don't, but willing to do whatever the majority of the commission would like.
I think that there is merit in hearing from all items. I think that, sometimes getting some input, there might be a perspective that we maybe didn't have before, but at the same time, it's, the opportunity for the public to weigh in on this is an item that will last for a long time, much in the same manner that we talk about the impact of the Willard Bridge being a 100-year decision. This is a decision that will be with us for many decades to come. And so I don't think that it should be taken lightly. And if we're looking for a public input and transparency in government, this would be a prime opportunity for that to occur. So, Commissioner Bueller, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I agree. I think the more public comment and opinion we get, the better. I would suggest for my colleagues and myself to provide to Mr. Knight what questions are not answered as far as going forward, a location, amenities that would be involved in the Southwest Aquatic Center Park, as I'm going to call it, until we come up with somebody that has $100,000 to name the venue. But that would be my suggestion, that members of the public and my colleagues actually say these are questions that need to be asked and answered of the public. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
John, if we were to look at that for a public forum, are there some ideas or dates or times?
You did it.
I've already kind of scheduled a tentative meeting, April 29th at 6:30 at the Crestview Center. And public is welcome, as the commissioners, reporters, media, everybody.
Okay, so April 29th at 6:30?
6:30 at the Crestview Community
Crestview.
Center.
The only thing I might add to that is that the request for proposals will due back to us on the 20th. I doubt we'll have a engineer selected by then. We'll still have the public meeting, but if we do have an engineer, we'll make sure the engineering firm that's selected is in attendance as well. One other point that I failed to make earlier is I've received numerous emails and phone calls regarding the location, and we with this kind of a project, we are having a complete different issue of what the county commission usually hears. Usually when you guys try to do something, it's a not in my backyard type situation. Actually, in this one, I'm hearing from everybody who wants this in their backyard. So that's, I'm not hearing anybody say we shouldn't build the pool. I'm just hearing somebody say, I'd like it closer to where I live. So.
Commissioner Archer?
Well, and I wanted to echo John. I'm hearing a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. I am excited about this project. As I've said before, I can't wait till it becomes a reality. So, thank you, Mr.
And the only other thing I'd like to add is I know David went through and talked about several government officials that he'd talked to. We had an Auburn Township approached us too about some potential too, and I know he's reached out to Ms. Marple, but and they'll get together soon about some different things we might be able to do out in that township. So,
Notwithstanding there being a public forum on April the 29th at 6:30 at the Crestview Community Center, if there are members of the public that want to add input or their thoughts to this discussion, I would so invite you to take this opportunity to approach the podium.
County Commissioners, I'm Melvin Schutte. I currently live in Auburn, Kansas. My reason being here and wishing to speak is actually threefold. Number one, personally, I don't think we need to spend the money. Parks and Rec, when it was on TV recently saying we don't have the money to clean bathrooms. Now we want to spend $8 million to build a water park and to maintain it and operate it. Number two, personally, as a person who lives in Auburn, 21st and Urish Road is not southwest of Shawnee County. And I strongly say that Auburn is. It definitely needs something for the kids to do. Besides baseball and a small community park, there's nothing. And the third and final reason I'm here, and the main reason is, I'm the current president of the Topeka Control Line Association. We're a group that flies the control line model airplanes, and currently our flying site is in Family Park at 21st and Urish Road. The park department in the presentation shows you an overhead view, and it shows the paved asphalt flying site. They didn't mention it. There is people using that park now. And my question to you is mainly is, if you go ahead and build that water park there, what are you going to do with the flying site? My understanding is that site's 100 acres total?
it's closer to
80. Well, okay, I don't know. When we were dealt with, talking with the city when this first transpired, they said 100, but okay, 80 acres. Then why not, if you have to, leave the flying site alone? We hold two contests a year, and we draw people from Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas, and now getting contestants in from Minnesota. Like I said, this is something that's been there. Model aviation originally was started in Gage Park, and the site was dedicated in 1948. We stayed there until the city of Topeka donated the land to the Kansas Children's Discovery Center, and we were not compatible with them, so the city agreed to move us to 21st and Urish Road. And we, at that time, thought that we would have a safe, we'd have a flying site that we didn't have to worry about. And now, since like 2009, we've been there, and now we're worried about, okay, what's going to happen to us again? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Schutte? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Carol Marple, and I agree a lot with what Mr. Schutte said, and my comments are, if the county is determined to spend $8 million on an aquatic center, My suggestion would be, rather than to do that, that they give $2 million to each 4 areas of the county, north, south, east, and west. You know, the Aquatic Center is only going to be open, I assume, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, if they have the staff, and I know that's a problem sometime. People in the county and the city are going to have to drive there. If we had $2 million in each area, we could put more recreational activities for families there. You know, $8 million would pay for 80 splash parks. We don't need 80 splash parks. We need playgrounds. We need updated playgrounds. We need things for our kids to do. I want to address Dover and Auburn because that's what I'm most familiar with. In Auburn, we're very lucky. We have the grade school playground that the kids can go play on, but we have nothing for our older children. We need a skate park. We need other things. Dover has nothing. You have a group of citizens there that are currently working very hard to fund a playground. You know, we're kind of missing the boat. We need to put our money where it will do the most good for the most people in this county. Yes, it's nice to attract families to come in, but let's take care of the families that live there. You know, I look at Rossville. They have their pool and they have their park. If you go during the day, there are not a lot of adults there. Most of the kids walk. You know, the kids in Auburn could walk. The kids in Dover could walk. Silver Lake needs stuff. The neighborhoods in the city, they need things. They need playgrounds. They need a splash park. And this would be where we could do our most good, is what I feel. You know, they would be open all around. We could put stuff in for adults, volleyball courts, basketball hoops. You know, we're not talking high dollar things, but we could get the most bang for our bucks. The Aquatic Center, it's a nice concept, you know, and people to a point will use it. They're going to have to pay to use it. Playgrounds you can use for free. Splash parks you can use for free. There's less maintenance on splash parks. You know, we could put more of them in. There's no reason that you couldn't put a splash park at Crestview, I assume.
It would depend where.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to spend our money wisely where it could do the most good for the most people in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Larry?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is James Lee. I've been a model airplane flyer since 1960. We moved here in 1971, and I started using the flying site at Gage Park at that time. That was a World War II memorial to the World War II dead. It was destroyed in 2010, and the city put in a new flying site for us in Family Park. I would love to see that maintained. I have nothing against the Aquatic Center, but we would like to save our flying site. You talked about the Mecklenburg County Parks and Rec. I'm very familiar with that because I fly at a flying site in Huntersville, North Carolina, which is done by the Mecklenburg County Parks and Rec. It's a wonderful flying site. The flying site here is well known in the Midwest because it's one of the very few. The closest one is in Omaha and Wichita are the two closest ones. Other than that, I've got to go to Tucson, Arizona, Dallas, Texas, or Huntersville, North Carolina to find a dedicated control line flying site. I'm not talking about radio control, but control line. This keeps us from using public parking lots, which are not safe for us or the people around. It is a destination point. We get people from, as Melvin pointed out, all over the Midwest. We have 2 contests a year. We draw contestants from everywhere. They come and buy grocery, or not groceries, but go to restaurants, motels, buy fuel, do shopping. Several of the ladies like to go to the casinos up north and leave some of their money and hope to take some home. If the spray park or aquatic center is in Family Park, we'd like to share it, but would like to save the flying site we have because it's an excellent place to fly. It's an option, a recreational option for those that are like me, too slow, too small, whatever, to play sports. It's a wonderful hobby, and I'd like to see it maintained. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Brenda Schutte. I'm Melvin's wife, and again, I live in Auburn. The one thing that I would like to point out is in 2005, the city of Auburn commissioned with K-State to have a comprehensive plan done. And one of the things that the citizens of the city of Auburn pointed out was they want a pool or something of that nature. Auburn is southwest Shawnee County. 21st and Urish Road is not. Second of all, one thing to point out with model airplanes, because I am somehow got very heavily involved, not only locally, but on the national level. Our club is a member of the Academy of Model Aeronautics. We are a chartered club. We provide a certificate of insurance to Shawnee County every year that provides insurance for us to be there. We fly at that site 12 months of the year, not just during our local contests, but there is someone there. My husband has been what they call a all-season flyer for 32 years or more. It is a park that is used. We are there New Year's Eve. We fly the old year out and the new year in. There have been times when we've had large crowds. There have been times when there's been very few. We have shoveled snow in order to have runways to be able to take the planes off. But it is something that is done year-round and not just 3 months of the year. Again, I had a conversation personally with Mr. Knight on the phone the day that this story broke on CJ Online, concerned because of what happened to us when the city of Topeka kind of booted us out unknown to us until the last minute from Gage Park. And we didn't want that to happen again because there is no place. We are a small club. We don't have the funds to go out and purchase land of our own. If we did, we would have done that already. We only request that in your scheme of the park, we're not opposed to the park, but we would like to have our flying site remain where it is at. We were promised something. We received part of what we were promised. We have our asphalt circle. Our parking lot we were promised in 2008 is not there. We were told it would have to be there because it had to be handicapped accessible. Our site is not handicapped accessible because they didn't fulfill what they promised us. So, any questions?
I might just have one.
Uh-huh.
Not knowing the future is
Mhm.
always a detriment.
Mhm.
But if we're looking at potentially 21st and Urish as a, again, potential site for an
Right.
aquatic facility, and with a control line model airplane circle being at that location currently, knowing that we have vast offerings for recreational facilities across Shawnee County, if we were able to find another spot for the club, is that something the club would be willing to do? And there may be another location that already has a asphalt parking lot, a level ground. What are the needs for the control line model airplane club?
When this all came up in 2008, we worked very closely with Terry Birtles and Mr. Rippon at the time, I think is what his name was. On proposed sites, there were none. This is what they came up for us. We need, an asphalt parking lot is fine as long as there's no light posts, as long as there's no parking stops, as long as there's a means to keep the public from driving in or walking in to where the planes are being flown, because that's a safety hazard. You're talking, these planes are on 60 to 70-foot lines.
Right.
So the circles are 160 to 180 feet in diameter. Right now, you know, the people that go out to 21st and Urish Road know that, you know, they don't walk into that circle. When we were in Gage Park, we had a fence between the circle and the road immediately to that.
And the reason I ask is I'm curious about Oakland Community Center. We have some space there. I also wonder about the Rice Community Center. We've talked about Rice for a number of years. There's some open space at Rice, and I don't know if any of those are even feasible or, but again, if it comes to pass, would you be willing to work with Parks and Recreation to see if we can continue to foster and grow your club?
If I might comment on the options of where to go, one of the main reasons we like the 21st and Urish site so well is that it's open. The community centers that exist that have an open parking lot, for instance, typically have trees and buildings around them. And it's like flying a kite in a forest. It's very difficult. The openness of the 21st and Urish site means that there's wind, but not turbulence. And the Gage Park site was actually becoming unflyable because the trees were getting so big it was like flying in a Mixmaster. It was very difficult and broke a lot of airplanes. But the 21st and Urish site is, the openness is the big thing for us. It also, I know the kite flyers use it. There's a lot of activities that go on there because it is an open area without obstructions around it.
Commissioner Archer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many members do you have in the club?
Currently, local members, we
Yeah.
only have, what, 10? But we
10.
have members from all over the country.
Right, but
And we have people, what was our last contest? We had 31 contestants
okay.
who come into the city, who shop, who stay in the
Right.
hotel, and they are here. Our contest usually is over Memorial Day weekend,
Right.
but because of the races, we moved it this year.
Okay.
But they're here 3 or 4 days in a motel.
But
So-
locally, there's 10 members of the club, if I
Approximately.
understand you
Approximately, yes.
correctly.
That
I think
used-
it's a nice facility, but to be honest with you, I play golf at Cypress Ridge. I go visit our daughter and husband. I go to Tailgaters every now and then for tacos and Diet Coke. And I really have never seen that facility used.
I've been out there 3 times this week.
Oh, okay, I just,
I've been out there
and maybe
twice.
it's me. It just seems like I've been by there dozens of times, and
Well,
it's
I'm-
just always been deserted. So
I'm retired. Of course, I go by Ball Diamonds, and they're always deserted too, so.
Yeah.
Well, and that's true, that's true. Okay, okay,
And some
thank
of the
you.
members work during the day, so they're there on the weekends or at night.
Okay,
I-
all right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm
I just-
retired. I fly,
Right.
when I want.
Some of-
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Wheeler?
You were asking about our requirements for the site,
Yes.
and I know we're a small organization. I would like to be able, my grandchildren, to have the opportunity to fly model airplanes. But how much area we use? We are currently used from the road end to the west, to equivalent to the west of the fire station, from the fire station down to the golf course. Right now, currently, there's one asphalt circle that we use on a regular basis and a grass circle that we use, which there is just a center pad on the north edge of the park. And towards the south end, during the contest, we use that site. We mow the grass, and we use the south end of it also. So if you're looking size-wise, you're looking at basically, currently right now, we're using from the west edge of the fire station, their ground, to Urish Road.
I might suggest you might take a look at the Greater Auburndale Park.
Okay, there, and I'm not going
Again,
to.
yeah, just as, I mean,
I understand, and like we said, we don't, if we had the money to move the site, we would have. I'm not saying anything bad about Shawnee County. When the city of Topeka was talking about moving us out, or telling us we couldn't fly at Gage Park anymore, and before they told us we could go, they put in a site at 21st and Urish. We approached Shawnee County Parks and Rec about some land out at Montera, and the reception we got was not very good. It was, if you go out and raise the money, we'll consider your proposal. It had to be built to their specifications, and that was without an agreement. So we couldn't approach anybody saying, hey, will you donate money? And like I said, you know, the city built us the site at 21st and Urish Road, and we just, you know, can't see, okay, it's already there, why do you have to take it away from us? You know, model aviation is, you know, is losing to computer games. All outside recreation is losing to computer games. I'm sorry, okay, sorry
Yeah.
for taking so much time.
absolutely. Thank you very much, and I
All
would
right.
encourage you to come to the public forum too, that again,
We plan on it, but this
Yeah.
is the first meeting that we
Right.
knew of.
absolutely, and we appreciate you being here to add that input. Those are, again, perspectives that we may not have heard or maybe not have access to, so we appreciate you being able to communicate with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the request to solicit input from the public. And again, I don't think we can say this too many times. It'll be April 29th, 6:30 at the Crestview Center. So I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that. All in favor of having the public forum on April 29th at 6:30 at the Crestview Center, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item E, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-142, 2015 with AT&T for annual maintenance of the Patriot 911 phone systems, which includes on-site support for $24,500, software support for $26,100, and hardware maintenance for $24,500 for a total cost of $75,100.
Morning, Commissioners. Lance Royer from the Sheriff's Office. This is the maintenance bumper to bumper for our 911 Patriot phone system. Covers the hardware, covers the on-site support 24/7, and covers the hardware and software. I think I said hardware. Anyway, it is paid for out of the 911 fund, so.
Is there any discussion regarding this or questions regarding this item? I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you,
Next item. Next item.
Consider approval of request to reallocate the Assistant Accreditation Manager's position from a range 20, $12.95, to a range 23, $15.02.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Colbeck with the Sheriff's Office. This is a position that currently exists within the Sheriff's Office. It's been vacant for some time. We would need to have the Board of County Commission's approval to increase the rate of pay that we pay for that position. We intend to open it up for bid internally, and then if we don't receive adequate interest, then we'll open it up outside of the agency. As you're well aware, we are an accredited agency, and Sheriff Jones has indicated that he desires that we remain accredited. Therefore, we're going to need to have someone that's a pretty independent thinker, someone that has some skill set and knowledge that they can bring to the table that I think justifies an increase in the existing rate of pay that we pay for that position.
This is within the sheriff's budget to be able to do this reclassification,
Yes, sir, that is correct.
or I guess reallocation,
Reallocation.
not reclassification, but reallocation. Are there any questions regarding this item?
No, but do we still need commission approval then to do this?
Yes.
I'm looking for John.
Is that right?
Just,
You're shaking his head, yes. Move approval.
There's a motion by Commissioner Bueller to approve the reallocation from step 20 to step 20, or range 20 to range 23. I will second. So motion by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. I might note that, Officer, before you leave, just for the press that's left, this is our...
I'm not model material, I just want you to understand that.
I would note that you are wearing the new uniform that has come in. This was an approved expenditure for the officers to go to a lighter weight uniform. And I would just so note that we have made that expenditure, and that you might see officers now wearing the new uniforms across the force.
We're actually formally going to do a press conference, well, it started 10 minutes ago, to announce the wear. We just started wearing it this Monday, and seems to be pretty popular.
How
Putting a
is it?
polo shirt on in the morning was really nice.
Yeah. Is it less weight then?
It is. It's for the average officer, most of their weights is distributed on their belt. This is a redistribution of the weight. I think it's actually going to have some positive health implications in the future as well. Carry more stuff, and it's lighter material. And I think during the blazing heated summers that we're going to have, we're going to notice an improvement. Wash and wear. So it's all good.
Yeah. I know we'll have a blazing summer because we just approved the expenditure for the heat pump at the North Shawnee County facility. So, thank you. Next item.
Item F, Health Agency. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-143, 2015 with Greenway Health for a license for a mid-level provider to ensure access to electronic medical records at a cost of $9,825 and a monthly charge of $289.11 for support to be funded by a grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Health Agency. Back in September of 2014, the Health Agency received an expanded services award and funding for us to be able to add a new provider. We have job offered, and the position has been accepted. In order for him to have access to our electronic medical record, we do have to buy a license, and that's what this cost is. And those costs were worked into the grant award that we received. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
How does this work with the safety net? Is this something that would transition over, or is this something that would terminate upon completion of the safety net?
That is something that we would anticipate would terminate if and when we terminate from the system. There would be some legal actions that would need to be taken. And I don't know, Rich, if you have any other comments you want to add.
The one thing that Rich Eckert, County Councilor, the one thing that we checked into was the ability to get our money back if in fact we terminated on a date certain, and we were told by the vendor that they would not. That's a fee that we pay, it's good for a year, and if we only use it for 6 months, tough, we have to pay for the full year.
So with that being said,
Well, and just to clarify too, the $9,825 is a one-time fee. It's the monthly fees that would be for the year. So just so you know that that's where the difference comes into.
is this something that would then be discussed with the new FQHC at that time?
It could be, and the other thing we could also look at too is ensuring that those grant funds are there to cover if there's any additional cost that might be assumed by the county as well.
Is there any other discussion regarding this item?
I will say too, based on our timeline, if we didn't transition right at the end of the year and had to go a few months into the year, I would anticipate it would be less than $2,000.
Given the need for the provider license, I will make a motion to approve the expenditure request.
I'll second. What is the termination date then? Or how long is this? This is just good till the end of the year?
The license itself is ongoing. The license is a one-time cost.
Okay.
The monthly cost you pay as long as you have the license active. So, until that date is determined, we would still be paying that monthly cost.
But it's a one-year commitment, I think, is that
Do you
correct?
know?
Yes, with rolling, because it's no different than the licenses we currently have with our providers. We continually are paying monthly costs with them. When we originally went on the system 4 or 5 years ago, we paid that one-time license fee, and now we pay monthly fees to continue their use of the system. So in essence, what's happening is this one license is going to be on a different schedule than the other 8 licenses that we have. And they could not put them on the same schedule.
Does that change anything for you?
No, given the need. Again,
Motion by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item G, Emergency Management. Number 1, consider approval of an amendment to the Ambulance Advisory Board bylaws clarifying the quorum definition.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Sturbins, Emergency Management. As directed by Commission to start working on the RFP, we found out that we could only have 2 members of the Ambulance Advisory Board, so this allows us to have 3 people, which makes it a little easier to work on that, along with the help from the county counselor and from the finance administrator to start those meetings and get you a product in a timely fashion.
Is this a matter that has gone through council's office for approval?
Yes, they're the ones that advised us how to do it.
Any questions regarding this?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Archer for approval. I will second. Seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Administrative Communications.
Are there any persons or department heads that are wanting to have communications with the county commission?
Commissioners, Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. I have a couple of items. This Saturday, April 18th, marks the celebration of Earth Day. So in regards to that, we are going to have an additional opening of our household hazardous waste facility from 9 to noon. And that facility is located at 131 Northwest 46th Street, which is about a quarter mile east of North Topeka Boulevard on 46th Street. Again, we accept for county residents free of charge paints, oils, herbicides, light bulbs, batteries, things of that nature. And then also, I'm pleased to announce that last week we reopened 57th Street there just by Docking Road. That was the bridge that we replaced here over the winter months, just east of Dover. That project is open now to the public, and it was opened about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. So I just thought I'd let everyone be aware of that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, John Knight, Parks and Recreation. I just wanted to announce, I saw you probably saw in the recent news and newspaper, the bike share program. I know you had some presentations down here. Our department's closely involved, and the person from our department who is involved, Sean Osborne, is here. But not only is Washburn University a place for those, and not only is this a new transportation method, it's also a recreational opportunity. We've got bikes that'll be available in Gage Park, in 2 locations at Lake Shawnee, and we're currently discussing with them maybe somewhere down around Crestview Community Center. So you don't have to necessarily get on there and go someplace. You can just get on there and ride around and have fun as well. So that's all coming in the next few days. So thanks.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. H.R. Cook, General Manager, Kansas Expo Center. I'd like to echo John Knight's sentiment regarding the bike share program sitting next to Shunga Trail, the Expo Center. We see a lot of bikes, and I think this is a great program for more recreational facilities and use of the trails. There has been, I want to give you an update. We are nearing the end of the season for the Roadrunners hockey. I want to give you a brief update on where we are with the Roadrunners. As you know, in late February, the Roadrunners gave notice that they would not be renewing their 2-year extension on their lease. We started talking regarding some negotiations, and have given them a proposal, which we have heard really no response on. As you know, that their attendance has been declining for some time. It started out about when Mr. Stone took over the lease in 2009, 2010. It was right around 1,400 people per game, and now we are right around just a little bit less than 800, about 750 per game. And I don't think either side, either the SMG or Mr. Stone, would see this severe decline coming. So in looking at our costs and our revenue, what we need to generate for revenue regarding and keeping in line with the budget with the county, and able to keep the ice in and our repairs, we did give him what we thought was a fair proposal regarding a de-escalating contract. With the more people he provides brings into the games, the less rent he pays. So we have not heard any response on that. And then there is also the issue of the road runners, because they are at the end of their lease, does owe SMG and Shawnee County a substantial amount of money in back rent from this last season. So we're looking at collections of those. I have kept Rich Eckert in the loop on all communications, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We're kind of at a standstill.
So HR, just to clarify, first, SMG has made a good faith effort to try to negotiate with the Roadrunners.
Yes, we have.
And it was the Roadrunners that gave notice that they would not be renewing their lease.
Right, yes.
And it's the Roadrunners that have not yet responded to the SMG's proposals. Correct.
Yeah, and in all fairness, just to defend myself, there's been a lot of talk that we don't want hockey in the Expo Center, that I don't like hockey. My son plays hockey. But we have negotiated with several of the hockey teams. The latest before Don Stone was Mary Magdalene Lorraine, and I'm sure we all remember her. But we have negotiated with several teams. And hockey is a very viable sport in Topeka, in the Expo Center, if there is attendance. If you are hovering around 500, 600, 700 fans a game, which it's announced in the paper that there's usually 2,000, 3,000 people in the stands, and that's a misnomer because they get that off of Point Streak, which is a fabricated number by the off-ice officials. There are a lot of Fridays and Saturdays that could be better utilized through other events, and unfortunately, the attendance where it is now is just not paying the bills. And it costs over $25,000 a month just in electricity to run the ice plant. So we need to make some serious decisions. If the Roadrunners would like to play in Topeka, we would like them to pay a fair rent for that privilege.
Are you able to say, I know you've said that they owe a substantial sum of money. Have we contacted them regarding the payment for their outstanding sums of money?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We have itemized it out. They have questioned some of our numbers, which are all substantiated, and we're awaiting the response. I think it'll be after the season's over before we get resolved. I'm confident that we'll get payment because there is also a letter of irrevocable credit with the league in case there is a outstanding balance should they leave the city, that we can go with the league. We'll be presenting them that bill.
Okay. And I know that in looking over this issue, after all of the income comes in and deducting off the expenses for the season, SMG makes a profit of approximately less than $30,000 total for a season?
A season. And that includes also the public skating, the Roadrunners, the Capitals, which is another subsidiary of the Roadrunners, the junior hockey as far as the youth hockey program and adult hockey program. So that's a combination of everything, along with the expenses, which you know a lot of those expenses because I've been in front of the commission before with those. Yeah, it's less than $30,000 for 9 months worth of work, and frankly, those dates can be better utilized if attendance doesn't increase.
So it's a matter of we need to have more attendance or something that better uses the facility.
Correct.
Commissioner Bueller?
Well, I appreciate you making us aware and the public aware, but I know the advisory committee has had several discussions about this also.
Mhm.
So, we'll see
So-
what happens.
We're kind of a standstill.
Yeah.
Well,
we
and
are.
Mr. Chair, I appreciate you bringing it up. I've heard from a number of hockey families, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so I'm glad HR's here, I'm glad you questioned him, and we can set the record straight. So, thank you, Mr. Chair, appreciate it.
Thank you, HR.
Thank you very much.
Is there any other administrative communications to come before the board today? Commissioner Bueller?
Good luck this afternoon.
Yes. Commissioner Archer?
No luck needed. Now, the luncheon is today, and I'm looking forward to the State of the Community address by Mayor Walgast and Chairman Cook. So, a good chicken lunch. So, that's it.
Well, I might add that there are a number of activities this weekend. This is Earth Day coming up. I know that the weed department will be doing some events across the county, and I know that, you know, there are the pickup is coming up through a number of neighborhoods. If you have large items, they can be drawn out to the curb. If you receive the mailing, check the mailing. It does cover a number of neighborhoods within the city of Topeka if you're trying to get rid of large items. And as Tom has talked about with the household hazardous waste, there's also facilities within the county that can have a lot of times to get rid of hazardous materials. This evening is the Topeka Bar Association annual meeting, and at that time, there's actually going to be rededication of a plaque that hung at the old Shawnee County Courthouse. And you would think that this building is being old, but that would be the building before this building. It was recently located and brought to the attention of Commissioner Bueller, and it was a plaque dedicated to a member of the Topeka Bar who was killed in action during World War I. It's a brass plaque that was found in storage. The Topeka Bar Association was contacted. They have found the ability to reframe it and display it within the Shawnee County Courthouse, and so tonight we'll be discussing that rededication with it to be displayed on the fourth floor at a later time. And again, it's good that we remember our heritage of where we've been and where we're going. So I thank you, Commissioner Bueller, for bringing that to our attention.
Well, and Mr. Chairman, I would thank Tom Randalls, AKA the wrestler. He brought it to my attention, and Jane's help in all this. It should not be in the sub-basement. It should be proudly displayed, so.
I agree. And then this afternoon, in just a little bit, I'll be giving you the State of the Community address for the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce. I might note that Commissioner Bueller has had 2 opportunities to address the State of the Community speech. This is the 5th annual, and so I'm sure that, you know, next time that, you know, you're the chair, you'll have this down to an art, and you'll give it the 3rd time.
They'll discontinue it at that time.
I don't have anything further. Our next item.
Executive session?
I think that there is a need for an executive session regarding non-elected personnel. I would ask for that to be for 10 minutes in this motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook for an executive session on the issues of non-elected personnel for 10 minutes, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? We are in executive session.
Copy of your speech at some point.
Excellent.
Oh, that's right, they're gonna be leaving the document. Oh, I'll bet that is stressful.
We go? We are back in session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.
So where's Dave and the crew going, by the way?